Yo,
snap by that South slow me down.
Feel Black, Creative Drive, back in effect. Me and Tone wrapped the album, man. And Tone Productions, Feel Black, wrapped the album. The album done. The day the sun didn't shine. And I'm pleased with what we created. You know, we first reconnected some point in February. Had our first session like March 30th, first weekend of April, I think. March 30th, and rapped. You know what I mean? Saturday night. And man, we only, how many recording sessions we had? I think we had like 7 different sessions over a few months. And so now we in the process of finalizing, like, everything's recorded, everything's all in. So now it's just about, mixing, mastering. My brother, he's finishing up the album cover, working on the sequencing. Got to link up with Lawrence to complete, the sequencing. And Street's mentor giving me some good input too, in regards to like the art, you know what I mean? And certain songs that, have good runs together. So, anything of substance when it comes to music, it's a collaborative effort. And got some joints, yo. Got some fucking hits on this joint, yo. Got some hits. I mean, got some hits. Got some bars. You know what I mean? Got some shit that'll make you think. Shit. Got some shit you could groove to, It's I'm content with what we created. My goal with this album was to, learn more about myself and the things I've gone through, and realizing that the things I've gone through have made me the way I am. And there's a lot of blessings in the struggles that made my life extremely difficult for a long period of time. So this album, for me, in my mind, is like redemption within myself. Like, okay, I went through all that bullshit that was outside of my control, but boom, I got this. So it's like damn near erases the past. I wouldn't say erases the past, but erases some of the trauma from the past. Because now it's like, okay, I went through that to get this. At least I got something out of it, type shit. I got something out of it that I wouldn't have been able to create without going through what I went through to make the day the sun didn't shine. Just like the Longest Breakup. Couldn't have made the Longest Breakup. You feel me? I mean, Same thing with Dead Broke Ain't Livin. Like, I remember me and Brandon, we was in the work truck. You know what I mean? Brandon Herron had got me a job out in Charlotte. You know what I mean? And the day after I got on probation, I left. Went out to Charlotte. Started the job like the next day. So I got there, I think Sunday. Met up with Lenny, the owner, Monday. Started working Tuesday. And I remember one day me and Brandon was riding. And Brandon at that point, he had one kid, another on the way. And we used to work. We had mad side hustles. I had throwback jerseys, weed, CDs. We would be selling. Then we would do side jobs. Like, we'll be out. We might see somebody. We might be somewhere and see that we walking through and they got bulbs out. Like, yo, man, we could replace these bulbs. We might see somebody with a sign out, or be in a store and they got some electrical issues. You know what I mean? Because part of my job, which came really handy when I was doing property management, I had a part-time job within the company as the night driver. So what I would do is I would go out to these locations and I would ride them at night. You know, when all the night lights was on, the photo cells, and you know, we'll make sure that, you know, they would come on when they were supposed to. I'll go through at night. I'll have maps of the properties, and I would have to, you know, just basically mark. There was a parking lot light out, you know, the high up lights. You know what I'm saying? Those was out. Boom. You know what I'm saying? I had to do that. You know, any signage, neon. You know when you in a shopping center, like the lights under the walkways. You know what I mean? All of that shit. So I would get paid based on the time that it took to do it, the miles I would drive. Then I would also get a small percentage of whatever they build. You know, oh, they got these lights out, that's how that sign's out. Okay, and then whatever it ended up costing, I would get a small percent. It might have been like 1%, but it was money. You know, I was already getting paid. And I got to travel and see a lot of shit in that whole area, because I would go all over, not just Charlotte. I would go Columbia, I would go to Conroe, like Hickory, all types of spots. You know, and so anyway, we was riding one day, man. I don't know how it hit me. I was like, man, you know why they call that shit dead broke? I was like, man, when you dead broke, you ain't living. And I was like, shit, Dead Broke Ain't Livin. And that's how the idea for that album that came about, you know what I mean? And because we was out there and we was working, we was broke, but we was working our ass off. We were hustling, you know what I mean? Like, we was fucking hustling, dog. We was hustling, dog. Like, we had so many like things we was doing, bro, and it was like, it was fun though. It wasn't like you feel down in the downtrodden type broke. It was broke, but you knew you was climbing type broke. It was a hopeful broke. But the ain't living part was like, yeah, still couldn't really do, because you know when you in a city like Charlotte, right? There's a lot of shit to do, but you can't do it. You can't really live that life that you want to live. I'm not even talking about extravagant shit. I'm talking about like going to football games, going to see the Panthers, going to Hornets games, or you know, eating at nice restaurants, or you know what I'm saying, shopping and buying the clothes you want. It was like that kind of broke. You feel me? So it's like we were breathing. You know what I mean? We were surviving. You know what I mean? The Dead Broke Ain't Livin, it's surviving. It's like you scraping, you working to get to the next day. You working for survival. know what I mean? Food and shelter. You know what I mean? And nothing luxurious. And I remember that, yo, I had to budget every dollar so meticulously, man. I would go grocery shopping and I would know, like, okay, if I get a carton of eggs, I would get these big boxes of like the sausage patties, orange juice. So I would know, okay, every day I'm gonna cook 2 eggs, 2 sausage patties, have 1 fucking glass of orange juice to make that shit last. And I was disciplined with it, you know what I mean? And then for lunch, I would just buy Chef Boyardee, mad cans of Chef Boyardee, because them shits was like $1 a pop. If you bought like 5 of them, it was like $6 or some shit. So I was stacked up on those, you know what I mean? And that was it. I ain't have nothing extra. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I always got love for Frankie, man. Because Frankie Ham is every time. We'll be out there and I'll be eating my lunch and we stopping somewhere. And I'll be like, no, I'm good. I got this, you know what I mean? Whatever I was eating. And he'll be like, yo, Bob, come on, man. Fuck that, man. I got you. He knew I won't make it but $9 an hour. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Frank used to look out, man. All the time. And, but yeah, man, I just said all that to say, it's like, it's crazy how the struggle could bring you joy, man. Cause like, I feel fucking joyful and happy about, you know what I mean, completing this album. That's based on a lot of like, I guess you could call it pain, you know what I mean? Pain, struggle, being fucking hopeless at times. And now it's the beginning of the new dream. So the next album, I already started writing it. Probably halfway done with this one. This one called Dreams I Remember. Because the day the sun didn't shine made me forget about a lot of my dreams. So now, the sun's shining again and my dreams are starting to come back to me. Like, I'm starting to remember my dreams now. See my dreams. Like, and now I got new dreams. So, yo, in the comments, I'm like, what dreams do you remember? That, you know what I'm saying, went, you know, that you forgot about, or that just got so far pushed back in the back of your mind. And then also, like, what new dreams do you have? Like, not shit you always wanted to do, but shit you recently, you know what I mean, thought about, yo, I want to do this. You know what I mean? Let me know in the comments, y'all. Peace.